Now that Matt Murdock has purged his 7 deadly sins, he can finally get to work on rebuilding his life, but sometimes to move forward, you have to move back. What'll happen next? Well, let's hop into the pages of Daredevil issue number 20 and find out together, shall we? So then, as we join the comic, Matt is having himself a horrible nightmare relating to the death of Bullseye. You'll remember, in order to save the life of Foggy Nelson from the Sin of Wrath, Daredevil had no choice but to let Bullseye fall to his death, in doing so damning him to hell forever, or at least that's what the Sin of Wrath told him. This revelation is clearly tearing poor Matt apart, and I'm just over here like, hey man, technically this is the second time he killed Bullseye, and this time you didn't even stab him through the gut or anything. Also, if we want to get really technical, it's not like you killed Bullseye, the pavement killed him when he hit it. And yeah, this sort of guilt is exactly why Matt is a good Catholic boy and I am a lapsed one. Here's the funny thing though, Matt ended up finding a fair amount of solace in the arms, and eventually not that much later, bed of old girlfriend Nyla Skins. Don't remember this character? Well, she's a 1990s and Nascenti invention. She was a street person who wanted to be an artist, actually spent a fair amount of time with Conan the Barbarian back when Marvel owned the rights to that the first time around. And oh yeah, even though she is one of Matt's many ex-love interests, she technically dated him back when he had classic comic book amnesia and was going by the name Jack Batlin. Matt actually tried to tell her everything that went on in his life afterwards, which is admittedly a lot, but every time he did, they just kind of ended up back in bed together. And you know what? Every video I come out with a fun little title to try and grab people's attention as it would relate to the story itself. For this one, I wanted to call it Back in Black, because Matt puts on his old black armored suit later on in the issue, but then I thought to myself, oh no, wait, people might come to the conclusion that I'm being crass because Matt has reignited his relationship with Nyla, and I'm just not like that. I mean, I'm crass as fuck, just, not like that. Now, even though Matt has a pretty good thing going with Nyla right now, he can't help but be eaten up inside by guilt, either because of his leftover feelings from Elektra, who feels like she might very well have left him for real this time, and, regular old Catholic sad boy guilt about getting it in on the regular. Geez, I also wonder why I am such a lapsed Catholic. Now, in an attempt to escape his guilt, Matt is basically spending all his free time with Nyla at her brand new place in Perpetuity Towers, a state-of-the-art housing development right in Manhattan, right by the train, with all the amenities you could want, and get this, it's even affordable in New York real estate terms. And hey, speaking of money, what the hell is Matt Murdock actually doing for work these days? He's not a lawyer right now, he's not even a priest. Well, get this, he's taken a job answering people's legal questions via a brand new app. Oh my god, he is literally the legal eagle over here. Of course, Matt ends up putting his new work on hold when a lady in the building knocks on his door. Apparently her daughter has gone missing and she is absolutely itching herself to death via worry. Keep this in mind because it actually will be important later. With a new case to solve, Matt Murdock decides to suit up as Daredevil and go and deal with the problem personally, and it's here we once again get a chance to show off the return of the classic armored suit. Well, honestly, calling this thing classic feels a little weird in retrospect. I was there when this thing was new and everybody absolutely hated it, but apparently just enough time has managed to pass for people to feel nostalgic for it again. And I suppose it works on a couple other levels too. Daredevil says he doesn't want to put on his old red suit because it's still filled with holes and reeks of death and failure from that night. He says he just needed a change in his life, and let's face it, he's probably feeling a lot more vulnerable right now, so a little bit of extra armor would go a long way. Then of course, because of the new TV show right now, armored looks for Daredevil are kind of in, so I guess it all just kind of works out in the wash, doesn't it? Now Matt hits the streets looking for clues about this missing girl. He manages to corral some day drunks, shows her picture around town, and even takes a moment to look on in at Foggy Nelson, who he still hasn't talked to in a month since the death of Bullseye. Yes, it would seem the two had just reconciled again, and now they've drifted apart, Matt feeling responsible for all the extra weight Foggy feels on his shoulders right now. And that maybe, just maybe, it would have been better if he didn't re-enter his life to begin with and let Foggy continue thinking he was dead. Now the next segment I really enjoy. Daredevil says he's going to look for information from the sort of people who are too dirty to go to the cops, but too decent to not let a missing girl remain missing. Basically, that just means he tosses a nearby biker bar, and wouldn't you know it, the patrons actually do know a little something about this missing girl. In fact, they know about a bunch of missing people who only have one thing in common, and that is they lived at, you guessed it, Perpetuity Place. This of course means that the next leg of the investigation would probably be served better by Matt Murdock in civilian mode than Daredevil in his costume. Luckily, Nyla is still at work, so Matt has some time to skulk around the place and look for clues, and not a moment too late either, as all this crime fighting has made him feel very itchy in this new suit. And when he takes it off, Matt, and by extension the reader, is absolutely horrified to see that his arm has sprouted a bunch of mushrooms and fungi. Holy shit, I did not see that coming. And the hits just keep on coming too, as at that very moment with his super hearing, Matt ends up hearing a bunch of people coming down the hallway. They gas him in his apartment before a whole entire hazmat crew ends up dragging him away. Apparently he's not the only one they grabbed today too, as this is just the tip of a much bigger, much more fiendish iceberg as the comic comes to a close. And so that was Daredevil issue number 20, everybody, and I gotta say I really enjoy what Solid Dynamite is doing here. So far, the first 19 issues of this run were all dedicated to the 7 Deadly Sins storyline, and now that that's actually done, it feels like Solid Dyn is free to do something completely new and different. Well, I say new and different, even though in reality, probably one of the things I like the most about this issue is how it actually goes back in time and pays homage to things from Daredevil's past. I never in a million years thought I would have seen the armored suit or Nyla again, but Amid clearly seems to have a love and passion for this stuff and showcases it. It also helps too that the art renders both of those things in great fashion. In many ways, this really does feel like a back-to-basics Daredevil story. No magic, no being a priest, just, you know, classic noir stories, hitting the streets, looking for clues, finding conspiracies. Hell, this story continues to promise too that the next time we see the Kingpin in Daredevil, it's going to be something completely different, as Wilson has claimed to have mended his wicked ways and actually found religion. Overall, I really enjoyed this issue. It's everything is old again in the best way possible, which is why I give it a much-deserved 8 out of 10. Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest. That's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow and, you know, help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.